Okay. The flow, it's all to answer the question, notwithstanding the fact that there's no base in Mikdash yet, it's still Man Leira Mokim Hazeh. Even though this place, like every other place, every other part of the world is created by Sodom and Gomorrah. The answer, he said, was that the difference between this place and everywhere else is the Shem Elokim does not conceal. That was the answer, and the rest of the Maimon is explaining what that statement means. So he explains so far the difference between Yisavos directly Mishem Havaya and Yisavos Mishem Elokim. Yisavos Mishem Havaya is A, B'derech Mamela, and B, therefore, B'kiruv. Yisavos Mishem Elokim, and the Moshel, this is what he's going to explain now on Yiheye. The two Mosholim that are brought in Chassidus. The one Moshel of Seichel and Midas, and the second Moshel, anybody? Moir and Oir and Moir. Yisavos Mitzad Shem Elokim is A Berichuk and therefore Bislapshus. What's the Moshel for that? The stone. So the stone is bislapshus. Bislapshus means the person doesn't just naturally throw stones. It's a decision, bislapshus. He gets down into that specific world of the stone, picks it up and throws it. So it's bislapshus and it's berichok because throwing stones is not his world. It's a distant world. Moreover, the energy that bears it alone, you don't even see the energy. You don't see the energy. You do see the seichel in the midas. You do see the moed in the oil. That's in fact all you're seeing is the moed. You do not see the energy in the stone. It's ruchni. And as we pointed out, not only you don't see the energy in the stone, you know that there is. The fact that it's flying, you know that there is a koyach. But what it is, you don't see. Not only what it is, you don't even know where it comes from. You just see the flying stone. Could be endless causes that the energy is wrapped around, the velocity is invested in the stone and bearing it aloft. Okay, so likewise he says, the conclusion of the end of his Dalit, the Ma'ila Shem Elikim is b'derech islapshus and not felt by Nivroim, b'derech tzimtzum. Just like the flying stone does not express the person. You don't see his energy, doesn't express the person. So too, creation, Nivroim, Misachem Elikim, it's his askut, it's his lapshus, and by the same token, and therefore it's behelem. Whereas Yisavos Mishem Elikim would produce, it speaks as if it does, but there is a Yisavos of Shem Havaya alone. It's Atzilus, but anyway, put that aside in the general sense. That is Yisavos Mishem Havaya. Or is Shem Havaya. Anyway, we'll leave that. But Kaponim Yisavos Mishem Havaya, the opposite, it creates that which is bottle and feels the mocker and is Bekiruv. Now he's going to explain why Chassidus brings two Musholim and the drawback of each one. Which two Musholim? Seichel and Midas and Oir and Moed. Yep, that's what's coming now. What do you say? Neither are perfect. V'hine yedua k'shmeviim b'droshei Chassidus shnei Musholim ha'yoser. So when Chassidus brings, he says, V'hine yedua, by the way, there's not even a footnote that tells us, yeah? Where does it say this elsewhere? And it's a mugadik maimah, you know. You think to be a reference, especially when you say yedua. So, you know you're there. So, because Bachlal, normally, Pashtas, when Chassidus brings Mosholim, he said, make it understood clearer. It's Moshe, another Moshe, another Moshe. And he was saying it's not just to add explanations, because the Mosholim are imperfect. we needed 1, 2, and a third, and putting it all together, we get the message clearer than if we only had one moshel, which would leave us with a somewhat distorted parallel. In the words of the Gemara, tzrichus. The Gemara looks the same way. Why Mishnah would have to say a din, second time or a third time, another Bryce, another Mishnah, because tzrichus, because if only said this, then you would have an erroneous conclusion in some area. Only the other one, you make a different error. Having all the cases stated by the Mishnahs, now we have the whole picture. So likewise, so Chassidus brings to Mesholim on board to one thing who neither none of the Mesholim parallel the Nimshol in all of the details. If we have to bring 2 or more, each one brings out another detail of the Nimshol. So why do we need 2 Mesholim here for Isavos Shbederech the Mele, which is Bekiruv, which is Seichel and Midas, and Oire Moy? Let's just review the Mesholim again. Bederech Mele, when the process of Seichel is developed, it will naturally produce Midas. The market is Bezgalus there. You're looking at Midas, you can see what meditation is fueling this particular emotion. So it's Bekiruv, it's in the world of the Midas, it's the natural consequence of the Midas are the world of the Seichel. The previous Maimon again, the Midas exist in Bin and even in Chachma. And it's a natural result, a natural evolution. And natural evolution means that the consequence is in the world of the cause, if it's a natural process. The other moshel is Oir Moed, that the Moed naturally produces the Oir. That is Bekiruv, and in the Oir you see the Moed. What is Oir? Again, Oir is seeing the object, the Moed. So why to Mesholim? So the reason that Chassidus brings to Mesholim, where was the source of to Mesholim? He didn't actually quote the source, just brought the Mesholim. Let's look at this Bechlal. Footnotes, I'm sure, bring it. They do. Okay. So likewise, that the should be Savas Shebederech Mele. So to bring to Mesholim from Ishabos that comes as a natural consequence, not Islapshus means an investiture by choice. Ishabos Shebederech Mele means the natural results, and it's Bekid of Lamahavet. So we bring to Mesholim Hamoshel, the Ilav Olo, Hamoshel, Leirum Moed, Ilav Olo, Seichel and Midas, and Leirum Moed, who Kiba Nimshal, because here's a critical distinction here. Number one, in the Nimshal talking about the Eibishter, Gambi Sabbash Bederech Hamela, even when the Sabbath comes Bederech Hamela, number one, Mishavet Dover Chodosh She'ene Be'erech Lamogram. Unlike Seichel and Midas when Midas, Be'erech the Seichel, here the Eibishter creates something that's completely incomparable. So that's where the marshal of both of them actually, but certainly Seichel and Midas fall short, as he elaborates. Even when the Yisabas is directed from Shemavaya, what does the pasuk say? He commands, not invested in it, like commands from a distance, and it just happens. But what happens? A bria happens. The Loshen bria, Moed Yisabas Yeshmai. Something incomparable, not like the Midas, which are in the same world, ultimately existing latently. David, in other words, he's saying David is not a creator. That itself, to be creator, is a decision.
Why is it safe
Yeah, ilabola seichel midas. When he touches it, all go kamoi seichel midas. It's the best example. So it's example ruchni in the nefesh. You can relate to. So the Eibishter Hutzivov and Ivro, that's not like Seichel Midas again. Seichel will produce Midas because in Seichel already, Behelem, are Midas. It's one world to begin with. So the Nikud is the Eibishter is not a creator. He's not hardwired to be a creator. When he expresses himself naturally, he'll produce creation. Not so at all. It's an absolute yerid in the descent, in the decision. That itself is Islapshus. There is a Islapshus, a descent, in order to descend onto the plane of creator. Just incidentally, I don't know what came up recently. We never learned it, we should. One of the Ladaiti, anyway, and I think many others hold the same opinion. One of the great revolutionary landmark works of the Rebbe that would Chassid has to learn, in addition to Inyona Shoteres, as Chassidus, which is number one probably, in the essence of Chassidus, is the Rebbe's Siyum on the Rambam Tafshin Lamed Hey. It's Muga, it's virtually a whole sefer. What is totally extraordinary about that Siyum, the first Rebbe ever made, is the Rebbe speaks the deepest inyanim of Chassidus in the words of the Rambam, whatever once using the language of Chassidus. In the beginning of the Rambam, the opening words of the Rambam, you say this. Questions that he asked there, the revolutionary questions, no other Meforshim asked such questions. That's not even in the world. It's the first big questions that ever asked on the Rambam, Rashi. These are all original. They're not questions. It's the language. That's the way. That's such a diyukim. And in this diyukim in Yonim Ufloy, just one of them is that the Rambam says, and this is how it was understood in Pashtus for the 800 years that he wrote the Rambam. No one even asked such a question. The Rambam says, if it'll enter your mind that he doesn't exist, then nothing else could exist. So one of the questions that I've asked is, Yala la das? This is an aliyah in das. Who would ask such a question? Yala la das. If a person would entertain the idea, Shein Motzei. And then there's a stira, Shehu Ein Motzei, that he doesn't exist. So he's saying this is Shehu, but he's Ein Motzei. You can't say it any other way. That's how language goes. It's language. No, it's a whole dir. The whole, I'm made a dir that who Ein Motzei means. It's an aliyah in das. That the Eibush is higher than creator, than Motzei, than being a first cause that produces creation. In simple language. If there be an aliyah, it's an aliyah in das. God's beyond creator. But you will say that's where it ends. And it wasn't the slapshus in Motzei and Shem Alikim, that he wouldn't have creation the way we do, as he goes into explaining all of the diyuk. I'm saying this because I'm not doing justice to it. But Shehu goes on Atzmos, that the Eibush is only Ein Motzei, and that's an aliyah in das, because he's higher than being the first being that produces Moya, higher than Moya, higher than, it's an aliyah, Atzmos. Then nothing could exist the way it does. It's not the kavanah v'chula, but it's an aliyah in das. It's like Yochid versus Echad, similar. That is Yochid but not Echad. It's higher than Echad. I'm just giving you it's just unbelievable sicha. Really, it's a revolution in what Torah and mitzvahs is everything. What the pull of mitzvahs aseh, mitzvahs lo yisaseh. chiyuv, shlila, and it's all rooted in one who learns Chassidus has really to understand. It's talking about. But it's meant even. It reminds me of a word that Alter Rebbe said that Mashiach will be misnagid. Because if it be a chassid, only the chassidim will accept it. If it be misnagid, the chassidim will. Well, okay, I'll be a Mashiach. That's the simple pshat. But how could Alter Rebbe say Mashiach is misnagid? I think Rabbi said this, that he will explain the deepest inyan in Eishis of Nigla. And not only in Eishis Nigla, show that in the Diyukim in Nigla is the deepest inyan. This Lamed Hey, this is an example. On one word of Atzma Seiviv Mamala, and that's all it is, the deepest. That's a whole context. Long, lengthy orders. But I don't think it's one reference to this, I don't think. Even in the Ha'aretz, maybe. Something to learn, friends. If you're up, if you're game for it. Take us a while, but it's worth the learn. We should put it to the vote. Chaim has the veto vote. I don't know. What's a Chaim? Think about it. Huh?
For sure you should learn it, but it's nothing to do with the Seder of every morning.
Oh, sorry. I kind of expected that answer. Okay, so let's think about when that could happen. So the reason we're bringing two pratim, so number one, the problem with Ilav Olol is it's Bederach and Meila and so on, Bekiru, Bittel, all fine and good. But for the Eibishter to create, he's not the natural creator, it's his decision. With Silvan Ivro, the Loshan Bria, Meida, again, we're after number 46 in the text. Meida, Alis Avos Yeshmai, Bria means it's actually the Ramban. The Ramban makes this point. The Bereshis Bara Elikim as opposed to Bereshis Osa Elikim. In the beginning, God made heaven and earth. The Diak Bria means Yeshmai, something from nothing. And Yeshmai in Hubein Aroich, the Yesh is completely not in the world of the Ayin. Continuing, Vizeshi Savas Mishemavai Boifa, Shubagila Banivroyim. Now he's saying that if Shemavai would create it in a way of Gila in Nivroyim, just like in Levolol, the cause is Begilui in the Ilas Begilui in the Olol. You look at the Midah, you see a person has a certain emotion. If you look at the emotion carefully, you know exactly what it is that he's appreciating, what engendered, what gave birth to this emotion. It all starts in the mind. So the market is bizgalos in the oval, in the result, not through the Eibush. God, you go look at creation and its vastness, you know nothing about Atzmus. So where's the Gilu? Where's the Moshel then? Where's this aspect of the Moshel? This is where it's flawed. So this we just said at the end of the previous paragraph that Shemavai is revealed. It's begilui in the Nivroyim that it should have memeno. That sounds like Seichel revealed where in Midas. It's not the same. It's not the same. What it is that the Eibishter creates unfiltered through Shem Lekim Shluchur Atzilus. It's a nirgish and atzilus she'ena metzias la'atzma. The result is that the nivra atzilus doesn't feel separate. It's bottled metzias. The whole metziusam he sha'ed alikim ahava oisamayla. It's not that you feel the Eibishter. It's just that you know you're not. And the whole we have no metzias, and it's all him. But who is him? You know, he's not bizgalus. The heritage is there. In that sense, the source is revealed. The source is revealed in the sense that the result does not feel that it's independent. The result feels complete dependence. That's what it reveals. But dependence on what? Feeling Atzmos. Completely beyond creator. Avalation. Next line. Avalation hu begilne b'nivroim atz. But not that the Eibush is revealed in and experienced by the Nivroim, in brackets, in Yonam Umalosam, in their Indian, in their mind, they feel him. And that would be their virtue, in Yonam Umalosam. They feel God. They don't feel God. What they do feel is, that Atzilus feels is, that it's only Metzias is him. Bittul b'Metzias. Bittul b'Metzias does not mean that Atzmos is felt, experienced. Can't be by definition. At least not now. Next line, next word. The kivin shal nivroim be'ein arech lagabe, since creation is incomparable to him. Hari ein shayish is gal behem, oish ein berach m'klal. Even though it's not shaykh, there should be revealed in him something which is completely beyond them. So what is when we say that the mocker is felt in them, it means that there is a mocker, and they feel that there's a mocker, so much so that they know they have no metzias without the mocker. This is similar to koyach and peil. Even in koyach and peil, which is islapshus, the pula ruchni is not felt. The energy is the seen, felt, not tangible in the pula gashmis. Even there. So that's the chiddush, even there. Now, in added, we following. We're all on the same page. Yeah, let's go further. One of us. Again. Since the energy produces, and the way it's pearl, energy pearls is, it's got to be directed in something specific. Be slapshus, the decision to throw the stone, kick the ball, whatever it is. The fact that when is the energy expressed? When it produces something. So the energy is revealed now in this act. But the act itself, the stone itself, the energy you don't see in the stone moving. Let's go further. Drawing the distinction here. He just finished saying that even in Koyach and Pearl, the source is not revealed. That's not Islapshus. What they share in common, Koyach and Pearl, and Islapshus, which is Islapshus, and creation, B'derech and Beila, what do they share in common? That the source itself is not revealed. That they share in common. What they don't share in common is, it's B'derech and Beila, it's not Islapshus. It's completely beyond. He's completely beyond. Unlike energy which produces this stone flying, so the power of the energy is revealed there. You just don't see it, but it's revealed, it's manifested there. Again, you don't know what caused this, but there's an energy which causes it, and that's evident. There's an energy which causes the stone to fly. But Shemavaya, Einim is Gala, Gamli the Yisavas Alivroim. The fact that the creations are coming to being gives us no idea whatsoever of the koyach that produced it. You do know that there's an energy that bears this stone aloft. You cannot see it, but you understand it's in our world and you don't know what produced energy. An animal kicked it, a person threw it. But there's an appreciation. It's bizgalus, this energy. It's a koyach ruchni, brings bizgalus. Bizgalus means it's appreciated and there's a grasp of it. not a tangible grasp. We don't know what caused it. So there's unknowns here. But the Isabas Hashem Havaya fundamentally is unknowable. Given Shemuf Leminyan Isabas because the Eibush is totally beyond creation, and even though it's B'derech HaMeila, there's the element of Islapshus there, of decision. What does he say now in the square brackets? It is a bit confusing because he throws in Koich and Pearl. The Koich and Pearl, that's Islapshus, and we're talking about what Isabas B'derech HaMeila. But the reason he's doing this is in order us to appreciate the deficiencies in the Mishalim. And the bottom line is that B'derech HaMeila, that's also like Koich and Pearl. What it shares in common with Koich and Pearl is it's B'derech Islapshus. What it doesn't share with Koich and Pearl is it's not revealed there at all, like the Koich is revealed in the Pearl. That energy, it's in that world. And moreover, I think another point you might add here, energy per force will produce all kinds of things like stones flying. And energy can't produce endless things, only stones flying, things of that nature. Whereas Shem Havaya is completely mufla, could create, not create, completely removed from that which it produces. You're shaking your head?
That we're talking about here is not us down here, but let's say this is where there's an awareness that they're nothing.
Pardon?
There's an awareness they're nothing.
There's an awareness that
they are nothing.
Yeah. But no idea whatsoever of the Eibishter. Why? Because he's mufla, because he doesn't have to produce an Atzilus.
No. In this case, it's almost like
Mufla, yeah.
Rifuk is
That,
about,
yeah, that's why he's saying the Mishalim break down. That's why the Mishalim break down. So Atzilus is not the natural product of Shem Havaya. So that's it. It's not B'derech HaMeila. So why are we calling it B'derech HaMeila? Because there's no tzimtzum. Shem Havaya is not this lavish in that world. It's Sivav and Ivro. But on the other hand, it's not B'derech HaMeila like Seichel and Midas like Olam Moed. B'derech HaMeila, God naturally when he expresses himself will create. Not so. Now what he's adding in the brackets is so the what is comparable different Islapshus. It's like the decision to throw the stone. It wasn't not a stone throw. But that is Islapshus. No, it's not the same. Because when he throws the stone, so true, the stone's a koyach ruchni and it's in the davagashmin, you don't see it. But on the other hand, the koyach, that's the koyach is revealed there. And this I didn't say, it's clear now. The koyach, the energy is revealed there. What it does, energy produces stones flying. But the Eibishter creating that's not revealing who he is by the fact that he created.
Even in the world of Atzilus?
Even in the world of Atzilus, yeah. Yeah. Again, this last point to make it clear. The koyach, energy produces flying stones. Other things too, but flying stones. Energy is not seen in the stone flying. It's not tangible. It's a koyach ruchni in our physical world. So much so we said, I don't even know what caused it. But the fact is, the stone and the energy, even though it's not revealed, it's concealed, but that's what energy does. That's what it does. But the Eibishter in creating Atzilus, creating with Shem Havaya only, that's not what he does. It doesn't express who he is. He's completely mufla, completely beyond. So again, God's not a creator.
So why or how is it
why even use it a mush?
Yeah, it seems like it breaks down in every way.
He's going to explain that. He's going to explain that. He's going to explain it. Main reason is to bring out the bittul. To bring out the bittul.
But
I'm telling you now, if you're looking ahead, the main reason to bring out the bittul of Nivroim.
doesn't Mar capture that too?
So explain why Adamo is not a perfect motion, because there Adamo is even more than say the natural product of the oil to the moir is even more a given than seichel and midas, even more so. The moir has to be in this gala. Mamish behechad. But there's a mile will explain in the mashal of the oil and moir. Okay, we're already at 7 o'clock. Beis Hashem, friends, I'm going to, when we finish the next little piece, I'm going to make a chart of this. It's hard to do, but just to be good exercise for me to map it out with no diagrams, can't put diagrams, but just tie in and just the points. The mind of the chsaron of this, chsaron here, mind there, it should be clear. Why we're learning this, God says, please get to know me. Number one. And of course, there's always the lessons and that's critical in our own avodah.